With God's help, we are going to learn lesson number 3 in the Kitzur Likutei Moharan, the abbreviated version of Rebbe Nachman of Breslov's masterwork Likutei Moharan. In this lesson, we're going to learn a very interesting concept, the concept of holy song and the concept of impure song. So one important thing we have to know before we start the lesson is that in reality, from a mystical point of view, there is no difference between what we consider to be good and what we consider to be evil. Everything that Hashem creates, everything that God creates in this world is good because Hashem is good. Evil exists because it's a veiling of the face of Hashem. It's Hashem allowing us as human beings the opportunity to have an evil inclination. So that might sound surprising. Why do we need an evil inclination? What kind of benefit is that going to have for us? So the answer is, in essence, that because we have an evil inclination, we have the ability to overcome that inclination, to choose to do the right thing, to have the free choice to do the mitzvah and not to do the sin. And that's what helps to purify us on our path. So in the one sense, Rebbe Nachman and other Kabbalists, other mystics will talk about the holy, pure side and something called the other side, the Sitra Achra. And what this means is impure thoughts and forces that are from the other side of something that is pure. So if you have a holy song, there's going to be, by definition, something called an unholy song. And our job is to overcome the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, and the Sitra Achra. So that's a very simplistic, short explanation, but that's what hopefully will suffice to understand this lesson. Rebbe Nachman says that by holy song, by elevating our prayers, our tefillos, our lives with holy song, for pure intent, we actually can elevate the kingdom of heaven. We can elevate our prayers. We can increase holiness and peace in the world. Consequently, if we listen to songs or melodies that are infused with the spirit of the other side, impure thoughts, impure words, Rebbe Nachman talks about songs that are not meant for the glory of Hashem, but are really meant for personal profit and a reward. If we listen to those, then we have a difficult time overcoming the instinct that song can influence in us. I think we all can recognize from our own experience the power of song, the power of melody. You know, sometimes you can hear a song, you can hear lyrics or words or music or a combination of thereof, and you can be transported back in time to the first time you heard that song, or maybe it reminds you of somebody you lost, or a time in your life that was difficult or happy, and so we have both of those elements there, so we know song is very powerful. Imagine if we could take the power of song and use it to uplift our prayers for the purposes of glorifying Hashem. It creates such a hugely powerful experience in the world and in the mystical and Kabbalistic world, the spiritual world. And consequently, if we glorify song that is impure and unholy, we will receive the blemishes and we will be put down and pushed down in our pursuit to get ever closer to Hashem. So Rebbe Nachman continues. The way to avoid this, the way to avoid impure song, Rebbe Nachman gives us the remedy, and the remedy is to study the Talmud at night. Studying the Talmud, which is the explanation of the Mishnah, the rabbi's explanation and debates that have come down to us all the way from the time of Moshe Rabbeinu up until the time it was written down, sometime in the 200s, by Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, the Rabbi Yehuda the Prince. This forms the code, the basis and the foundation of all Jewish law. Studying Talmud is a very powerful remedy for not just for impure thoughts or song, but in general. And it increases our knowledge and it brings us closer to the love of Hashem and the understanding of all of his halachos, all of his laws, and all of his statutes that we are to keep, and how to implement that in today's world, and also in the world that we had back in the days when the temple stood. May it speedily be rebuilt in our days. Amen. So by studying the Talmud at night, you can combat those pure forces. Rabbeinu talks about many times the efficacy of studying at night, how important it is to fight against those impure thoughts, which he says tend to happen more in the nighttime than they do in the daytime. So by adopting a regimen of studying the Talmud, even if you study a page, half a page, a couple of verses, at night, it will still be enormously helpful. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't study Talmud during the day, of course. Everybody has their own schedule, and everybody has to do what's right and what's best for them. However, if you want to avoid or at least diminish the possibility of having to fight with impure thoughts, one way to do this is by studying the Talmud at night. Rebbe Nachman tells us that by means of such a holy song, we can attain something that's close to the idea of prophecy. That's a very, very heavy topic. You know, we talk about prophets, great prophets like Moshe Rabbeinu, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Malachi, all of these amazing, amazing people, Devorah, Hannah, all of these people that we study and learn about in our past, our forefathers and our foremothers that had the spirit of prophecy. And today we learn that we don't have the ability to have that spirit of prophecy for many, many reasons which are beyond the scope of this video. However, by holy song, when we hear a holy and pure melody, Rebbe Nachman is teaching us that it is almost akin to the level of prophecy. When we hear that special voice, that special instrumentation, Shabbos tunes, holiday tunes, whatever it might be, we can feel inside of our souls an awakening. And that awakening is very close to what prophecy was like. Also, by studying the Talmud at night as well, we can bring down threads of loving kindness from heaven into our life to cover us, and eventually those threads can form almost like a blanket. And we can then protect ourselves from unholy and impure thoughts, and we can then elevate our song so that we can achieve a sense, a taste of what prophecy was like. Maybe even a taste of what the world to come is going to be like. We can remove from ourselves thoughts of ulterior motives, thoughts of envy, jealousy, hatred, baseless hatred, thoughts of guilt, thoughts of shaming, thoughts of lust, thoughts of all of the things that we as human beings have a struggle with on the daily basis. We can utilize song and the power of the Talmud together often to root out and get rid of those thoughts and protect yourself like a shield, like a blanket from those thoughts. In fact, that's one of the reasons why, if you hear in yeshivas, many of us study Talmud in a sing-song voice where we talk about the Talmud and then we talk. So it's the idea that there's melody, there's the words take on a life and a property all of their own. Rebbe Nachman teaches us finally that when a person rectifies the voice of song, you can attain rulership and dominion over your Yetzer Hara, your evil inclination. You can thereby rule over anything that you choose. You will be the commander of your own ship, so to speak. You can give life to people. You can also, God forbid, use it for evil to put people down, in essence, killing that person. You will have mastery over your own emotions, your own spiritual level. And it's imperative that when and if we can attain that level, we can use the holy song to get there, but then we have to use that level of power and that level of control for good, only for good, to encourage, to inspire, to love, to uplift, to forgive, to not judge, to bring Am Yisrael, all of the people of Israel together and united so that we can take our brothers and sisters who are having a difficult time and bring them into the light as well. All of these things can be accomplished with holy song and also with the protective shield of studying the Talmud at night. You can then, through this song, happy, joyous, pure, and holy, you can bind yourself to the Creator. You can literally pull yourself out of whatever depth, whatever evil thoughts, whatever difficult sadness and depression, God forbid, that you are and I are suffering. We can forcibly remove ourselves from the grip of the evil inclination and the grip of the other side, and can pull ourselves with faith and hope and joy and peace and love and non-judgment, but simple peace and faith. We can bring ourselves and bind ourselves to the Creator and take our prayers and give them an extra lofty spirit so that they can rise to Hashem, and so that, God willing, He will grant every one of our prayers, each in its exact time. And that is my wish for you, and that is the lesson, the main lesson from lesson number 3 from Rabbeinu. Kol Tuv.